This year marks the 10th year for the 4-day knit-along hosted by Marie Greene. And it's not really a 4-day knit-along. It's more like 30. So grab your current project, grab something to drink, and let's dive into the details. Welcome back, friends. If you are new here, my name is Melissa. I am the dyer behind Rising Tide Fiber Company. And if you are a new viewer, welcome. So as promised, I'm going to dive into all things 4-day knit along. I did this video last year and people found it helpful, so I thought I would do it again this year. This year marks the 10th and final year that Marie Greene will be hosting this knit along. It's happened every July for 10 years now, and we've historically knitted sweaters, cardigans. In recent years, she's moved to tees, and this year we have a pullover and a cardigan. So let's dive into the details. So this year's sweater, regardless of which version you do, is called the Watermark. So here is kind of a sneak peek picture of them. And as you can see, they're both short sleeve in the pictures. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't really have much use for a short sleeve cardigan. So in the patterns, you will have the ability, she gives information on short sleeves, half sleeves, and long sleeves. So if right off the bat, you don't like the sleeve length on either one of them, it's totally doable to change that. As you can see, it's an all over lace pattern. And both of these patterns are sold separately on Ravelry. If you download or purchase and download the pattern now, you will get information with like the swatching details, yardage requirements, all the basics that you need before the knit along kicks off on July 1st. Now, right now, the patterns are $10.95 each. This is not a combined pattern. They are two separate patterns. On June 28th, the price will go to its normal $12.95. You don't need a coupon code, nothing like that. Just add it to your cart and the discount will automatically be taken. You can find it on Ravelry, but you can also find them both on Marie Greene's website. So if you're not a Ravelry user, that's not your thing, then by all means, I will link both places down in the description box. So this is a DK weight sweater, and she does say a light DK, so you can use a sport weight if you think that's better. It has a gauge of 22 stitches by 24 rows, which is really pretty standard for that light DK weight. Now for her to get gauged, she says a US size 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter needle. You will need some other needle sizes, like a size 3 for like the neck ribbing, and a size 5 for the ribbing. The size 3 for the ribbing and size 5 for the body. Obviously, you'll want to swatch first and see if you get gauge on those as well. Let's talk sizing. Now, this is a raglan construction, so she doesn't indicate, but I think in my draft copy that she sent me, it was roughly about 2 to 4 inches of positive ease. So bust circumference runs from 35.25 all the way to 63.75. So I'm not crazy about the size inclusivity on either end. I think she probably could have gone smaller and maybe like one size bigger. But we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 9 sizes as a whole. She does give information on the lower body length. She says it's anywhere from 12 to 16 inches. I believe that is from underarm down, like the actual body length of the sweater. And then she talks about top of shoulder to underarm, because this is also a size that varies for a lot of people. I have some thoughts about different types of yarn if you don't want to stick to what traditionally most people use, superwash merino. Now, with it if you go with the original idea of short sleeves, I think some sort of plant fiber or plant fiber blend would be fantastic. I know that a lot of people don't like knitting with just 100% cotton. So I think if we looked at my yarns, I think you could go with a 50-50 blend, meaning 50% wool, 50% cotton. If you've been around me, you know that I think that's a great choice. Wool wicks sweat, cotton keeps you cool. So you have the dual purpose with the dual fibers. This is a fingering weight version that I just had handy, but I do carry it on my website in a DK weight version. I think it would look really lovely with two fingerings held together. It would give your fabric just a little bit more movement and breathability. I also on my website have the Suffolk DK. This is a yarn that I have. It is 50% baby alpaca, 25% silk, and 25% linen. So a lot of plant fibers, a drapier animal fiber. I think this is a great alternative. I could see this in long sleeve, half sleeves, short sleeves, anything that you want to use. Me personally, I am thinking of doing the cardigan version in a new base that I have called the Drift DK. And this is 51% alpaca and 49% cotton. And it's actually a cotton tube with the alpaca blown through it. So this is incredibly light. And I did do a small swatch of the V-shaped pattern. As you can see, it has a little bit of a halo without being overpowering. I think this is a really lovely option if you want long sleeves. I don't know that I'd want a halo-y short sleeve version, but I think if you want half sleeves or long sleeves, this Drift DK would give you a lot of versatility because it is so lightweight. So I think you'd be okay like tossing it, in your bag for a summer evening, or if you're going out to eat, and we all know that it can be sweltering outside but freezing inside because the restaurant's air conditioning is working so well. The other thing you're going to want to think about is buttons. So in the photo, she's wearing 10 buttons. I think when you download the information sheet, you will actually see size requirements for buttons. But if you're like a lot of people, you don't necessarily want or need buttons for the cardigan version. I know personally, I sometimes will make cardigans and not do the buttonholes and not put buttons because I know I'm not going to use them. So if you're going to make the cardigan version, think about, do you really want buttons or do you not use your buttons? In fact, when I went to the pattern page, as of the recording of this, there were 2 testers on there who had posted photos wearing the cardigan version. It appears they made 2 different sizes, probably one towards the larger spectrum and one maybe closer to the middle spectrum. I didn't see necessarily anyone that appeared on the smaller end of the spectrum. So right now we don't have a ton of information visually what it looks like on different body shapes, but neither of those testers put buttons on their cardigan versions. So I'd really be curious, are you a button user or not? You will probably begin to see some yarn shops or dyers posting progress pictures. We for the last several years have had, we could sign up with Marie to kind of be added to her list of participating shops and dyers so that we could get an advanced copy of the pattern and then begin to start it. It has already been tested. She kind of finalizes the document before she makes it available for purchase for you guys. And then this way, shops and dyers have sometimes a more finished product. I have not started mine, but I have a show this weekend, and then I will probably begin working on mine. The knit along starts July 1st. We knit through the entire month of July. So while this is called a 4-day knit along, it is in no way a 4-day knit along. That title originated from her desire to see if she could challenge herself to knit a sweater in 4 days. And she absolutely did. She is on the smaller end of the spectrum of sizes, and she was totally able to do that. And if you wear a smaller size, then you too could probably challenge yourself to knit it in 4 days. But realistically, she knows that most of us cannot. So it does go for the whole month of July. And it's great fun. I would be open to hosting Zoom knit-alongs if enough people wanted to actively participate in the knit-along ride-along with me. So if that is something you're interested in, let me know down in the comments. Again, I would be totally open to hosting a online knit along if enough people wanted to actively participate. I'm also curious, down in the comments, do you have a preference? Like, are you going to use a more plant fiber based blend or yarn? Or are you thinking of using something maybe new, like my Drift DK? Or are you going to stick with tried and true wool, whether superwash, non-superwash? I always encourage people, like, think about what you would wear the garment with when you want to decide on color. I know for me, I typically wear cardigans over top of like graphic t-shirts or flower print type dresses. So for me, I just need to think about what are the colors that I primarily wear. And that's not to say that I want a neutral, though my neutrals are typically navy and gray. Those are my two favorite neutrals because I wear a lot of blue. I wear a lot of pink. So navy and gray go with everything, essentially. So think about what you want to wear them with. Maybe you want that pop of color. Maybe you do want a short sleeve top and you want something to brighten up your summer. I do think the short sleeve version of the pullover has a lot of versatility in that, though, yes, if you choose a summer-friendly yarn, you can totally wear it in the summer, but it is a great piece, I think, for layering. It would look spectacular under, like, jacket, blazer, and I think it would be really good for transitional weather. So that in between fall and summer, in between that spring into summer, or even like winter into spring or fall into winter, depending upon where your geographic area is. So think about how you want to wear it and where in your wardrobe this piece actually fits. And is that piece a cardigan or is that piece a pullover? And again, remember that both, regardless of which option you choose, will have a way to change up sleeve lengths, whether you want short, half, or full length sleeves. I suspect you could probably even figure out how to get 3/4 inch sleeves if that's your preference as well. And you could, based on the way the pattern is written, you could even do some contrast with the ribbing areas, even if it was just low contrast, because we're not diving into the lace before we get out of some of that preliminary ribbing. So I'd love to know your thoughts down below. If you have questions about any of the yarns, you have questions about the patterns, or feel free to reach out. And again, I'd love to know, what are your thoughts on what you want to use to knit it? Also, if you liked this content and you'd like to see more of it, just hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And until next time, friends, happy making.